Have you ever wondered why, despite giving your best, your relationship feels like an emotional roller coaster? What if I told you that you might be living with someone who has narcissistic traits without even realizing it? In this video, we're diving deep into the dark world of narcissistic manipulation within relationships. Get ready to uncover the 11 signs that might indicate your husband has narcissistic traits and how this can profoundly impact your life. If you've ever felt confused, devalued, or emotionally drained in your marriage, this content might be the key to understanding what's really going on. You'll recognize patterns of behavior that you may have normalized but are actually toxic. We'll explore everything from extreme selfishness to subtle emotional manipulation techniques that could be undermining your self-esteem and mental well-being. By the end, you'll have the tools to identify these signs and, more importantly, know how to protect your mental and emotional health. So, are you ready to open your eyes and see your relationship in a new light? Let's embark on this journey of discovery and empowerment. Imagine waking up every day next to someone who seems to be the center of the universe, not your universe, but his own. This is the first and perhaps the most glaring sign of a husband with narcissistic traits: extreme selfishness. He acts as if the world revolves around him, and you? Well, you're just a satellite orbiting his grandiosity. Your needs, desires, and even your comfort are secondary, if they're considered at all. To him, you exist to serve his interests, whether it's managing the house, taking care of the kids, or being his constant emotional support. But beware, this selfishness comes disguised. It might show up as a concern or even a love. "I just want the best for us," he says, when in reality, us means me. He might make major decisions without consulting you, justifying it by saying he knows what's best. Your opinion? Irrelevant. Your feelings? An inconvenience. This behavior goes beyond mere selfishness. It's a complete denial of your existence as an independent person with your own needs. You become an extension of him, a tool to be used and manipulated as he sees fit. Now, let's talk about something that often goes unnoticed: insensitivity. A husband with narcissistic traits not only ignores your feelings but seems incapable of registering the negative impact his actions have on you. He does what he wants, when he wants, without considering how it affects your life. Worse, he might even feed off your negative emotional reactions. Seeing you crumble could be, to him, a form of entertainment or proof of his power over you. But here's the twist: when you react, he cleverly shifts the focus to your reaction. Suddenly, you're the hysterical one, the overreactor, or too sensitive. He never addresses what actually caused your reaction. It's a brilliant and cruel tactic, making you doubt your own emotions and perceptions. This insensitivity often masquerades as a strength or irrationality. "You need to be tougher," he says, when in reality, he's dismissing your legitimate feelings. "Don't be so emotional," he criticizes, while completely ignoring the emotional damage he's causing. Remember that special birthday you were looking forward to? Or that Valentine's Day that passed by unnoticed? Welcome to the world of disappointing gifts, another classic sign of a husband with narcissistic traits. Narcissists are notoriously bad at giving gifts unless they're in their love-bombing phase. In the early stages of seduction, they might be extravagant, making grand gestures to impress you. But once they feel they've won you over, the story changes drastically. Suddenly, special dates are forgotten or barely acknowledged. Your birthday? He forgot. Christmas? A last-minute gift with no thought behind it. And don't be surprised if he tries to sabotage your celebrations. After all, the spotlight should always be on him, not you. This behavior goes beyond mere thoughtlessness. It's a subtle form of control and devaluation. By neglecting your special dates, he's sending a clear message: your needs and desires don't matter. It's a way to keep you in a constant state of disappointment, always longing for his approval. Imagine living in a gilded cage, where every move you make is observed, criticized, and controlled. This is the world of excessive control, one of the most disturbing signs of a husband with narcissistic traits. The control manifests in every area of your life. He tries to dictate how you spend money, even if you have your own income. He has strong opinions about your friends, often trying to isolate you from people he sees as threats. Your job. He might sabotage your career opportunities or constantly criticize your work. But the control goes beyond the tangible. He tries to shape your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. "You shouldn't think like that, what you're feeling is silly," are common phrases in his vocabulary. It's an insidious way of making you doubt yourself and your perception of reality. And here's the cruelest trick: this control often comes disguised as care or protection. "I just want what's best for you," he says, while suffocating your individuality. "I'm protecting you," he claims, while clipping your wings. Now, let's talk about a critical but often overlooked aspect: the relationship between narcissism and addiction. Many narcissists struggle with some form of dependency, whether it's alcohol, drugs, work, sex, gambling, or pornography. These addictions aren't coincidences. They're often desperate attempts to fill an internal void, to escape from the self they so deeply despise. Addiction and narcissism go hand in hand, creating a vicious cycle of destructive behavior. The problem is that addiction only masks narcissism. It doesn't cure it. Many narcissists enter 12-step programs, achieve sobriety, but the underlying narcissism remains intact. Sobriety can even exacerbate narcissistic traits because it removes the buffer that addiction once provided. For you, the partner of a narcissist with addictions, this creates an additional layer of chaos and unpredictability. You may find yourself not only dealing with the highs and lows of narcissism, but also with the devastating consequences of addiction. Imagine living with someone who secretly envies everything you have, even your most intrinsic qualities. This is the world of narcissistic envy, one of the most toxic and corrosive aspects of a relationship with someone who has narcissistic traits. The narcissist's envy runs deep and wide. He envies your accomplishments, your talents, your friendships, even the love you receive from your children. This envy is a direct reflection of his low self-esteem, carefully hidden behind a facade of overconfidence. What's even more disturbing is that this envy can extend even to his own children. A narcissistic father may resent the attention a child receives, seeing them as competition for the affection and admiration he believes he deserves exclusively. This envy fuels many of the problematic behaviors you experience day to day. The constant criticism? Attempts to bring you down so he can feel better. The seemingly inexplicable fits of rage? Often triggered by moments when you shine, inadvertently threatening his fragile sense of superiority. We've arrived at one of the most painful and devastating aspects of a relationship with a narcissist: betrayal. Infidelity in a narcissistic relationship isn't just about sex or physical attraction, it's an extreme manifestation of their sense of entitlement and lack of empathy. For a narcissist, betrayal is almost seen as a right. They feel entitled to constant attention and admiration, and if you're not meeting all their needs, they feel justified in seeking it elsewhere. What makes narcissistic betrayal particularly cruel is the elaborate web of lies and manipulation that accompanies it. They are masters of gaslighting, making you question your own sanity when you suspect something. "You're imagining things," "you're paranoid," are common phrases in their arsenal. And when they're caught, then comes the grand performance of remorse. Tears, promises, perhaps even grand gestures of repentance. But beware, this remorse is usually more about the inconvenience of being discovered than about the pain they've caused you. Imagine living in an environment where mutual respect, the foundation of any healthy relationship, is constantly undermined. This is the world of chronic disrespect, a hallmark of a husband with narcissistic traits. The disrespect shows up in many forms, from subtle indifference to explicit verbal abuse. He might treat you with disdain in private, but the real show happens in public. In front of friends and family, he doesn't miss an opportunity to put you down, making jokes at your expense or belittling your opinions. This behavior serves a dual purpose: he elevates himself by bringing you down, and at the same time, tests the limits of what you'll tolerate. The more you accept this treatment, the more you lose respect for yourself, falling into a vicious cycle that benefits him. The worst part is that, over time, you may start to normalize this behavior. "He's just joking," you tell yourself. But make no mistake, this is a pattern of emotional abuse designed to undermine your self-worth and keep you in a subordinate position. If there's one skill narcissists truly excel at, it's emotional manipulation. It's as if they have a PhD in playing with people's emotions, and unfortunately, you are their favorite experiment. The manipulation starts subtly. He uses information you've shared about your vulnerabilities, your fears, insecurities, past traumas, as ammunition against you. That insecurity you confided about your body? He casually brings it up when he wants to make you feel bad. Your fear of abandonment? He hints at leaving whenever you challenge him. But it's not just about pushing your buttons. The narcissist will also manipulate through flattery and affection, what's often referred to as love bombing. He showers you with compliments, gifts, and attention when he wants something or when he fears you might leave. The real trick of emotional manipulation is that it keeps you in a constant state of confusion. You never know when the next outburst, insult, or love bombing will come. This keeps you off balance and makes you easier to control. Last but not least, we arrive at the hallmark of narcissism, the lack of empathy. This is what sets narcissists apart from mere selfish or difficult people. A true narcissist is incapable of putting themselves in your shoes, of truly understanding or caring about your emotional experience. This lack of empathy manifests in a variety of ways. He never apologizes, or, if he does, the apology feels hollow, as if he's merely saying the words without meaning them. He never shows genuine concern for your well-being. When you're sick or stressed, instead of comforting you, he might make you feel worse for being weak. But the real tragedy is that the lack of empathy makes any real emotional connection with him impossible. You can try to explain your feelings until you're blue in the face, but it will never truly penetrate. He may feign understanding when it serves him, but deep down, he doesn't care. Because, at the end of the day, in his world, only his feelings matter. If you recognized your husband in any of these traits, you might be wondering, what now? Living with a narcissist is exhausting, disorienting, and often heartbreaking. But awareness is the first step to reclaiming your power. Remember, you deserve to be in a relationship where you are seen, heard, and valued for who you are, not for what you can provide. It's important to seek support, whether from trusted friends, a therapist, or a support group for those affected by narcissistic relationships. Boundaries, self-care, and emotional healing are essential as you navigate this challenging journey. No one deserves to feel invisible in their marriage. If you're ready to take the next steps toward clarity and healing, stay with us for more content on how to break free from toxic patterns and reclaim your life.